Hello, good afternoon. This is Blessing. Welcome to my channel. On this channel, we look at African literature. Today, we are going to consider Ola Rotimi's The Gods Are Not to Blame. The Gods Are Not to Blame was published by Oxford University Press in 1971. The book is a drama text, that is, it was written for stage performance. Let's look at the characters. We have King Adetusa, the old king of Kutuje, Queen Ojuola, his wife, King Odewale, successor to Adetusa, Abero, Odewale's second wife, Aderopo, son of Adetusa and Ojuola, the Ogun priest. We have Baba Fakunle, the soothsayer, the Ifa priest. We have Boy, which is Baba Fakunle's escort, chief. We have three chiefs, the first chief, the second chief, the third chief. We have Alaka, Odewale's boyhood friend. We have Bonka and Olojo, messengers of Adetusa. We have Yaburo, a mad woman. We have the royal bard, Adewale, Adebisi, Oyeyemi, and Adeyinka, the royal children. We have Akilakwa, we have Bokini, we have Labata, Agidi, the royal bodyguards. Then we have the townspeople, we have the drummers, and we have royal retainers. The play starts with a prologue. The prologue is a long revelation of all that had happened before the action of the play began. So the narrator comes on stage to introduce the audience to the story that is about to unfold. According to him, the place is the land of Kutuje, and a baby has just been born to the king, King Adetusa, and his wife, Ojuola. Then we see the new parents enter the shrine of Ogun with the baby in company of their chiefs and subjects. As is the custom, the new parents bring their first baby to be blessed by Ogun, the god of iron, after which the Ifa priest would tell the future of the baby. Baba Fakunle, the Ifa priest, enters promptly. He's a partially blind old man, led in by a boy. After his Ifa consultation, Baba Fakunle breaks the sad news of the child's destiny. He says, this boy, he will kill his own father and then marry his own mother. Everyone present laments this regrettable fate, but the parents know they have to get rid of the baby to avert the prophecy of the gods. The priest of Ogun prepares the boy for a sacrifice to the gods by tying his feet with strings of cowrie. Then he hands the baby over to Bonka, the king's special messenger, to bear him to the evil forest. Bonka exits the stage and lights fades. 2 years after this tragedy, the gods blessed Adetusa and Ojuola with another baby. They named him Aderopo. 32 years has passed before we see light on the stage again. This time, King Adetusa has been killed and Ojuola is aged. Aderopo has also become a full-grown man. The stage reveals a dialogue between mother and son, Ojuola and Aderopo. The dialogue is about the people of Kutuje, how Ikolu has taken advantage of the death of the king to attack the people of Kutuje. After this scene is the scene where Odewale consoles the attacked people of Kutuje. The scene reveals how Odewale has heard of the war ravaging Kutuje and how he has wandered from place to place in his futile pursuit of peace. This scene reveals Odewale to have hailed from Ijekunyemoja, found himself at Kutuje, and motivated the people to retaliate the attacks of the people of Ikolo. The people of Kutuje have conquered in the battle against Ikolo under the leadership of Odewale, and as compensation, Kutuje has appointed Odewale their new king against tradition. Odewale has ruled in Kutuje for 11 years, all the while believing himself to be the only son of Ogundele of Ijekunyemoja. He has also taken the late king's widow, Ojuola, as wife according to custom, and he has had 4 children by her. The land of Kutuje has also prospered under his kingship. However, there appears to be another evil imminent upon the land of Kutuje. In the first act of the play, the people of Kutuje lament an outbreak of diseases that appears to have claimed many lives. They accuse the king of feigning indifference. To assure them of his concern for the sad state of things, Odewale sends for the Ifa priest, Baba Fakunle. He also sends Aderakpo to Ile-Ife to inquire from the gods Orunmila about the cause of the calamity that befalls Kutuje. Odewale sympathizes with and encourages his subjects some more. Then Aderakpo arrives from Ile-Ife. Odewale, in company of his chiefs, seeks to know the outcome of Aderakpo's sojourn to Ile-Ife. The latter seeks to speak with the king in confidence, but the king refuses. He insists that the sickness and death that ravaged the entire kingdom and whatever message the gods have concerning it must be made known to all. Consequently, Aderakpo reveals the message of Orunmila to the king in the presence of his chiefs. According to him, an abomination lives in the land and must be purged. The slayer of the king, a man, lives among the people of Kutuje. On hearing this, the king promises to fish out the person and afflict him with a slow death that kills him with every passing moment. The king then inquires into the events that led up to the death of the late king. He is told that the king was killed by a group of robbers on the road to Oshogbo. Then Odewale summons his town people and before them swears by Ogun to find the murderer of the late king, pluck out his eyes, and expel him from Kutuje. Act 2. Baba Fakunle, the old Ifa priest, arrives at the request of the king. After he is told of the calamity that befalls the land, he makes to leave the palace. He discloses that there is evil in the palace and he would rather leave. Odewale insists on hearing what the oracle has to say. He demands to know the name of the culprit who has brought all this evil upon the land. Upon Odewale's insistence, Baba Fakunle discloses that Odewale is a bed sharer and a murderer. Angry, Odewale engages in a heated argument with the blind Ifa priest before the latter was taken away from the palace, and Odewale withdraws into his chamber. But soon re-enters, ordering for Aderakpo to be brought to him. He laments how everyone in the village has plotted against him because he is a foreigner, especially Aderakpo, who the king accuses of conniving with the Ifa priest to defame him so that he could become the king in his stead. The conversation between the two men, Aderakpo and Odewale reveals that King Adetusa was indeed killed by a single man and not a group of robbers, as Odewale had been made to think. Aderakpo, however, insists that he is innocent of the numerous accusations levied against him by the king. Odewale promises to exile Aderakpo from Kutuje, swearing by the sword never to set his eyes on him ever again. Scene 3. A friend from home pays the king a visit. Alaka, a childhood companion of Odewale, Ogundele's apprentice, shows up in the palace after several months of trying to locate Odewale. When the two are alone, Odewale reveals how he left Ede because he killed a man who had trespassed his farmland. With the use of flashback, it is revealed that the late King Adetusa and Odewale had been engaged in a physical combat over who owns the piece of land upon which Odewale was farming in Ede. And Odewale had caused all the king's escort to fall asleep while he overpowered the old king in a fierce battle. He struck the old man with a single blow of the hoe, and the man dropped dead. Ojuola re-enters and persuades the king to tell her why he had banished Aderakpo from his presence. Odewale reveals his series of suspicions and accusations of Aderakpo to her. Ojuola tries to dismiss what Odewale said. She insists that Baba Fakunle the Ifa priest is not to be taken seriously. Ojuola says to prove that the old man's mind is not sound, he once gave her that her first child would kill his father, thereby causing her and her husband to kill their first child. She added that the same Baba said that her husband was killed by his own blood, while in fact he was killed by a total stranger in a place where 3 footpaths meet near Ede. This description resonates with Odewale's encounter with the old man on his farmstead, which was also located near Ede, where 3 footpaths meet. Odewale seeks further clarifications to ascertain the identity of the man he had killed. The scent for Gbonka, the king's bodyguard, who brought the body of the late king back to Kutuje so that he can give them a more precise account of the events that led up to the death of the former king. While waiting for Gbonka to come, Odewale learns to his relief that his father Ogundele has passed on and his mother has aged greatly. He also learns from Alaka that Ogundele and Mobike, his wife, had only adopted him and were not his real parents. He learns that he had in fact been picked up from a bush by Alaka. It turns out that the baby that had been condemned to die as a sacrifice unto the gods because of his bad fate is the same person of Odewale. And as the priest who told him his fortune had said, he could not run away from his fate. As the mystery unfolds, Ojuola leaves the stage and goes into her room. As Gbonka is eventually brought in, he sheds light on the mystery, revealing that the former king was killed by one man and not a group of robbers, and that the boy he was ordered to kill in the bush was not killed, but instead given to a hunter who turns out to be Ogundele. That same boy is Odewale, who has killed the former king and married Ojuola, having 4 children by her. Meanwhile, Ojuola has been away in her room, later to be discovered dead. She stabbed herself with a dagger. Odewale goes into the room, pulls out the knife, and uses the same to pluck out his own eyes. He later exiles himself from the village, taking his 4 children with him, thereby fulfilling all prophecies. That is the short account of the story of The Gods Are Not to Blame. In subsequent videos, we will analyze the story. We'll look at the dramatic properties and the implications of each of them.